NFL fans, welcome back to this edition of the Crash Out NFL podcast. Today, me and Carlyle are going to go through our top 10 NFL cornerbacks, as long as an honorable mention, and as always, our weekly roundup. So, let's begin.
All right, guys. So we took like a 2-week absence, and for that I apologize. And it was because, I was actually in Ohio. When I was in Ohio, I got something really cool. I put it back here in my little wall. All right, look. I'm not gonna pick it up. Look, this is a autographed Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase Super Bowl thing. Has the pictures, autographs, whatnot. Very cool. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna kick it off. Wesley. What is your? I guess you're gonna kick it off. My bad. What is your honorable mention for corners?
So, first of all, before we start, this edition, we are going to be going through our top 10 corners, and hopefully you guys agree with them. We're not going to be going through, like, ESPN top 10 corners, like, all just the basic generic picks. We're going to be going through guys who have really shown that they can be top 10 corner, not just by the show and how they've done in previous history. So, my honorable mention is actually J.C. Horn on the Carolina Panthers. So, J.C. Horn, the reason he didn't make my list is because he is injured too much, okay? This season, he had 5 passes defended and 0 INTs and 27 total tackles. So the reason he had so little is because he was not healthy. However, I believe once healthy, J.C. Horn will be a top 10 corner. I hope Carlisle agrees with me. I think he does because he's really underrated too. Not many people think of J.C. Horn when they think of a good, solid lockdown corner. 5 passes defended is really good for a guy who's played limited games. Also on a horrid Panthers defense. Or, not a horrid Panthers defense, but a horrid Panthers team, just in general. So, that's why I have J.C. Horn out of my list. So, who's your honorable mention?
Before I say it, actually, the Panthers defense is actually criminally underrated. Has a lot of very underrated players, along with J.C. Horn. Derek Brown, best run-stopping defensive tackle in football. Brian Burns, pretty solid edge rusher. Underrated safety Jeremy Chain. You had another corner, Dante Jackson, recently traded the Steelers for a 3rd-round pick, and Frankie Louvu, whatever. Okay. Anyway, so mine originally was what's his name? J.C. Horn, and I changed it actually. It was like a 3-man battle between J.C. Horn, Christian Benford, also a Buffalo Bills corner, who's criminally underrated. But I picked Taron Johnson, a 2nd-team All-Pro slot corner, and who's currently the highest paid slot corner in the NFL, who got a new contract this offseason. Trent McDuffie will probably pass him here in like a year or two. But Taron Johnson was very, very good this year. Had a very solid year, acknowledged with the 2nd-team All-Pro. I think he's been underrated for a while, and he finally got that recognition he deserved. He's been one of the best slot corners in the NFL for years. He really has. It's been him, some other guys who I can't think of. Mike Hilton, that's what's thinking of. Him and Mike Hilton for years, okay? This year, he's for 2 years in a row, he's led the NFL in pass stops, 23 in 2023 and 24 in 2022. So yeah, he's just been very good, very solid. He plays on a very underrated Bills cornerback core, which had I think 5 very, very good corners. Not very, very good, but 5 good corners. Tre'Davious White, who's one of the best in his prime, older now, a lot of injuries. Rasul Douglas, also very underrated, very good player, very good pickup at the trade deadline. Also struggles with injuries like Tre'Davious White. Christian Benford, again, like I said, really underrated. Taron Johnson, which I just said, and Carlyle, 1st-round pick, kind of a draft bust, but still a good depth corner. Actually, in that fact, they were picked in the same draft. Carlyle, 1st round, and then Christian Benford, 6th round. Christian Benford beat Lamb for reps in the rookie years, and the rest is history. What's your number 10, Big Dog?
All right, moving on to number 10. So, I don't know if anybody's going to call me casual. Normally, I have him higher on this list. However, he's injured too much. I'm going to go with Trayvon Diggs. A lot of you Cowboys fans are finally happy that I put their guy on the list. We haven't really talked about their guys in a long time. All right, so, Trayvon Diggs. Like everybody knows, limited games. I think he only played like 2 games this year or something like that. But probably more than
right.
Yeah. So towards ACL, out for the rest of the season. Had 4 solo tackles, 4 total tackles, which were all solo. Had a pick, 3 passes defended. So normally I would have him higher on this list, and the fact that I still do have him on this list is quite crazy. But I do think that next year he's going to come back, and I do think that he's going to maintain the same production that he made in 2022, the previous year before he tore his ACL. So normally I'd put him at like a 5 or 4, but just because he was hurt this season, I'm going to put him all the way down at 10. I still do think that he's a top 10 corner, but I just need to see him be healthy, get reps, be on the field all day, every day, grind, go Cowboys, all in. Jerry Jones, what are you doing? Sorry, went a little bit off topic there. But I do think Trayvon Diggs still has the potential to be a top 5 corner in the league. But Cowboys, y'all should be happy that you got a pretty good duo in Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs. So,
All right, I'm gonna rebuttal you real quick. Trevon Diggs, I think he's good. Yeah, I don't have him in my top 10. Spoiler alert, but he's probably like top 15, top 20 for me. Just barely missed my list. But yeah, he's a good corner. I think his first team All Pro season, 2022, he had like 11 receptions. Not good at all. I didn't like him. But next year, he showed a lot of improvement in a lot of areas. Interceptions went down, but I think he was a much better corner that year. All right. My number 10 is Derek Stingley Jr. on the up-and-coming Houston Texans. In 2022, he was drafted 3rd overall. Actually, he was like one of my highest graded players in the class. I loved this guy coming out of the draft. He had a really, really bad 2022 season, and it made me look really dumb for loving him so much. Yeah, he had like a not a good year at all, and looked like a draft bust. But he also got hurt. And when he came back this year, because it was a pretty good injury, 2023, he looked much, much better. He had PFF gave him an 85 grade and top 5 at a cornerback position. And that just goes to show you, this guy was just great, like all around. He was just a very good player for the Texans, and I think he can be even better next year. He can be top 5 if he keeps developing. Yeah, he's not as good as Sauce Gardner, but he's still really good. Back to you.
all right. Derek Stingley is actually, as much as I hate to say it, he's one of my favorite players. I thought he didn't look very good his rookie year, but this year I feel like he just kind of showed out and was a cornerstone in that Texans defense. All right, number 9 for me. I'm going to go with a guy who really helped this team get to the AFC Championship and was a cornerstone in their secondary. I'm going to go with Marlon Humphrey here. So everybody might be looking at Marlon Humphrey's stats and saying that he is not a top 10 corner. When you look at that defense, it all speaks for itself, okay? Not many passes were being thrown on Roquan Smith. Not very many passes were being thrown on Justin Madubuike, okay, right? Justin Madubuike had a career year. Roquan Smith is still Roquan Smith, and Patrick Queen there too, right? So Marlon Humphrey, 26 total tackles with a pick and 5 passes defending. You might be looking at him and say, why don't you just put J.C. Horn in that position, right? So Marlon Humphrey was the only corner basically on that team, okay? They have Bo Braid on that team, right? That was their second best corner, okay? So I don't agree. I didn't like the Ravens cornerback room this year. However, he did show out, and I do think now with Nate Wiggins drafted, that Marlon Humphrey and him will be a great 1-2 tandem. I do think Marlon Humphrey can develop Nate Wiggins, and having some help on the other side, that'll make Marlon Humphrey better. Already a good corner. A lot of people underrate Marlon Humphrey for no reason. I think back then the battle between him and Marshawn Lattimore was a good one. But yeah, that's my number 9. Yeah, all right. That's my number 9. All right, back to you, Shoddy.
Actually, I think your Marlon Humphrey take is horrible because they have one of the best secondaries in the league. Brandon Stevens, cornerback number 2, is very underrated and will probably be cornerback number 2 over Nate Wiggins and TJ Tampa. And they have arguably the best safety duo in the NFL with Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Williams. Plus, they have a phenomenal linebacker core in Roquan Smith and Trenton Simpson. Not Trenton Simpson, Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen. Now it's Trenton Simpson, sorry. And Marlon Humphrey hasn't really had a good year since like 2021. 2022, 2023 have not been very good. He did not make PFF's top 50 cornerback site this year. Yeah, I think there's a good reason why he hasn't been that good. He's not on my list. Anyway, my number 9 is Kendall Fuller, who I feel like was one of literally the only good players on the Commanders this year. I mean, the Commanders' defense was horrible. Cornerback 2, Emmanuel Forbes, looked really bad as his first year. Looks like a huge bust unless he can turn around, which we've seen before with the one guys on this list, Derek Stingley. Corner is a hard position to adapt to. People forget that with the rookie success of Devin Witherspoon, Sauce Gardner. Like, it's a hard position to adapt to. Kendall Fuller has been a very good corner for a very, very long time. And he wasn't Mr. I was almost in Mr. Sunshine. I was in Mr. Sunshine. Um, he wasn't Mr. Eccentric plays. He didn't have that many big plays, but he was just so consistent. The entire year, he had 13 first downs. The whole year. Okay? Whole year. He had 21 pass stops, which is passes defended. I just like saying pass stops because I'm Sigma. And he only missed 2 tackles all year in coverage. I mean, he was just really, really good. He's just so consistent. He let up 6 touchdowns, but those weren't entirely his fault. And plus, he played with a horrid Commanders defense, other than maybe their front 7. It's good. Their horrid secondary is what I meant. Cameron Curl's a decent safety, but Kendall Fuller. He's old. He's been very good for a very long time.
I mean, Kendall Fuller, he's very underrated. I agree. I do think that he can make an honorable mention. I don't think that he was
almost honorable mention.
Yeah,
he was almost. He was like there.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I could put him up there. I mean, he's very underrated. He is getting old. I do think that he's going to retire eventually, but for now, he's a pretty solid corner. He's like, I don't know, reaching 30 maybe a bit older than 30.
He's 29. Yeah, he's 29. You're like on the dot.
29?
On the dot.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Alrighty, next we're going to move on to our number 8 cornerback, and my guy is a guy to the AFC who made the Pro Bowl this year. Very underrated, first of all. I liked him last year, but I feel like he was very underrated. Denzel Ward from the Cleveland Browns. A lot of you are going to look at me and be like, who is that? He is the cornerback number 1 for the Cleveland Browns, and let me tell you a little bit about him. So this guy, Denzel Ward, had 34 total tackles, okay? He had 2 picks, and he had 11 passes defended. Now, when you look at that, that's more than both J.C. Horn, Trayvon Diggs, and Marlon Humphrey combined. More passes defended. And he had the equal amount of picks as Marlon Humphrey and J.C. Horn. So that's why I have him in my number 8. Very underrated Browns player. I do think he's better than a lot of the corners in the league. He did make the Pro Bowl this year. He helped that Cleveland secondary, which I think is a pretty underrated secondary, but he did help that Cleveland secondary make it to the playoffs. Ultimately lost in the first round, but that defense just really stepped up and helped them get to the playoffs in the first place. So that is why I have Denzel Ward my number 8. I would have him higher, but I just feel like the rest of the list is just superior to the entire NFL. So that is my number 8. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would have had Denzel Ward's like he almost made my top 10. He was another guy who was like in consideration. He was like I don't have him on my top 10 either, but I had him for consideration. He is a very good corner. Thing is, I think he benefits a lot from a really, 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 really good, really good Browns defense, and they also have a really good secondary. Probably, maybe other than the Bills, the best cornerback core in the league last year with Martin Emerson and Greg Newsome also playing great. But he is the leader of that secondary, and I think he is really good. I think injuries have held him back a little, just like J.C. Horn, except J.C. Horn, I think, has shown more in his time healthy than Denzel Ward. I really don't get how he made the Pro Bowl because he was injured for 1.5 the year this year. Actually, I didn't know that. I didn't know he made the Pro Bowl. That shocks me. That shows to show you how nobody really cares, but the cornerback position just goes off names. That's why I actually did this video, because I felt like corners is, by casual fans, every corner in the league is overrated or really underrated, other than Sauce Gardner, who's the best corner in the league. Spoiler. All right. I'm going to do number 8. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. My number 8 is Jaire Alexander, who actually I thought was really... did I say his name right? Jaire?
Yeah, Jaire. It's Jaire.
Jaire. All right, Jaire. Let's keep it in there. Jaire Alexander, who actually I thought was really overrated. Then I looked at him a little bit deeper, and just because of the injuries, that's why he's so low. If it wasn't for the injuries, he would have been my top 5. But it's just he's injured so much. From 2020 to 2022, before Sauce entered the league, he was the best corner not named Jalen Ramsey. He was very, very good. His overall PFF grade, which is my favorite way of measuring players, he was a 92, which is incredible. It's really, really good to have an average of 92 for over a 3-year span. He was really, really injured 23-24, but I think if he's healthy, he can get back to that Pro Bowl form. All right, that's my assessment on Mr. Alexander.
All right. My number 7, I'm going to go with a guy who a lot of people are going to get mad at me because all of you guys are casuals. You guys would have him in your top 10. I'm looking at you, ESPN. I'm looking at you. I'm going to put
Dude, why are you
Jalen
hating
Ramsey
on
at number
ESPN
7.
so much?
There's many reasons. We'll
Because they
talk
always
about
put
that in a
the
later
Titans in the
episode.
bottom 3. And on the power rankings.
There we go. There we go.
They gave him a 0% chance of the Super Bowl.
I know.
The Bengals got a 3, so.
ESPN is just. Anyway, ESPN, I'm looking at y'all. Putting Jalen Ramsey at number 7, okay? 22 total tackles, 3 picks, and 5 passes defended. On a stacked Dolphins secondary, which is why I don't have him top 5. Last year, maybe have him top 5. Year before that, maybe have him top 5. Look, if you look at Jalen Ramsey, his production has just decreased since his Jacksonville years, okay? LA, first year, he was pretty solid. Years after that, just decreased in production, okay? This is a guy coming off of a trade and injury. 5 passes defended. That's the same amount as J.C. Horn, who also played less games than Jalen Ramsey. 3 INTs. However, I do think that he is still better than Denzel Ward, Marlon Humphrey, and Trayvon Diggs, as well as J.C. Horn. If you look at especially his highlights, then you'll understand why he's so much better than these guys, right? If you look at that, what was that one pick? Y'all know what I'm talking about. The one pick, he made a pick 6, in like the first week he came back, to basically seal the game. So Jalen Ramsey, that's why I have him so high up, but that's also why I put him on my list, because if you look at his highlight tapes, he's still got some juice in him, right? So I do think that he's going to just keep decreasing, but I still think that he does have juice in him to remain a cornerback 1 for a couple more years. So that is my number 7. We're going to go on to number 6. Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to talk about how horribly bad I think that take was when I get to Jalen Ramsey, who's way, way, way higher on my list. Anyway,
All right.
So I'm going to do my number 7, which is Trent McDuffie, who made his first team All-Pro this year, who is far and away the best slot corner in the NFL. And I think slot corners as a whole are just really underrated. I put like 3 on my list so far. Trent McDuffie, Kendall Fuller, Taron Johnson, Mike Hilton barely missed my list. He's a Bengals slot corner. He would be top 10 any other year, but he's getting older. That's because they're not just flashy as outside corners, but they still guard really good players. Like slot corners, the guys that guard Travis Kelce's, Mark Andrews, George Kittle's, or really good slot receivers, Cooper Kupp, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, they are really good slot receivers, and slot corners the guy that covers them. And Trent McDuffie, I think, is one of the best overall corners in the game. He's a really complete corner. He earned 88.3 coverage grade this year, which is seventh in the NFL this year. And he also rated really, really well in rushing the passer, blitzing, stopping the run, and he also prevents separation very, very well, which is crucial for a slot corner. So I think this guy, he was a very, very good first-round pick for the Chiefs. So yeah, I think a lot of people are worrying that the Chiefs corner co after trading L'Jarius Sneed, but I think they're going to be okay. I think Trent McDuffie is a very good corner. Back to you.
All right, so I was going to write a whole diss track on you. However, I actually really liked your take, okay? When I heard Trent McDuffie, I immediately thought he's not a top 10 quarterback because he's a slot corner, okay? Let me introduce you guys to Trent McDuffie real quick. He made first-team All-Pro but didn't make the Pro Bowl, which is sort of surprising to me. So I was going to start to diss you. However, when I heard your take that he's guarding receivers like Cooper Kupp and Amon-Ra St. Brown, that made me have a little change of heart. So I'm actually not going to diss your take. But I am going to move on to my number 6, which is Tennessee native L'Jarius Sneed. Very, very happy that I can put this guy on my list. Let me introduce you to my boy. 78 total tackles, 60 solo tackles, 14 passes defended, and 1 or 2 interceptions, okay? So, as you may know, since he plays for Tennessee, I have done a lot of research on him. I learned he allowed 1 touchdown all year. The 1 touchdown came in the playoffs. So, you may be asking, why are his picks so low? He is not a go-get-the-ball corner. He is a lockdown, get-the-ball away from the receiver corner, okay? L'Jarius Sneed is a 4th-round pick out of LA Tech, which is crazy. 27 years of age, just got traded to Tennessee Titans. So, Number 6, you may be asking, this guy, now that I've read you all his stats, should be way higher. L'Jarius Sneed, really, it's only his second breakout year. He's had 10 picks his entire career. He was drafted in 2020. This is really only his second breakout year. The reason I think he was so good is because he played on a Chiefs team that had a very solid stacked defense. I do need to see him do it again, right? This is really the one year that people really started paying attention to L'Jarius Sneed. I do need to see him do it again in Tennessee. I think with that Tennessee secondary that has improved a lot after grabbing Cheeto and still having Roger McCreary and having Amani Hooker and maybe signing Justin Simmons. I do think that he is set up for success. He's going to be guarding Stephon Diggs twice a year, Michael Pittman twice a year, and he's going to be guarding Christian Kirk twice a year. And he's going to have some good practice. He's going to be having good practice. He's going to be having good practice with Calvin Ridley, D-Hop, Traylon Burks, and Tyler Boyd.
Yeah.
So that's why I have him at 6. We're going to move on to number 5, but first let's have Owen's little diss track on me.
Actually, no, I like L'Jarius Sneed. I like him a lot. I haven't let him higher than you, so you don't get a diss track. We haven't like the same range. We haven't like the same range. Also, only thing I would diss you on is he will not be guarding Christian Kirk. Because guess what type of wide receiver Christian Kirk is?
He's a slot receiver. I'm sorry.
And guess who's
Gabe Davis. He's going to be guarding Gabe Davis and what's his name? Brian Thomas. All right, well, still solid receivers. Twice a year, so we're good.
I was getting excited with playing solid receivers. All right, my number 6 is C. Ward. I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name because I can't. Anyway, he was also another first-team All-Pro. Was undrafted at a KC. Worked his way over to 49ers, and has been a really, really good 49ers corner for like 4 years. Really underrated. Instrumental to their 2 Super Bowl losses. It sounded better in my head. It sounded like a flex, and it sounded really stupid. All right, anyway, this year he forced 21 incompletions and had 5 interceptions. Was one of the best tacklers in coverage he had 20 pass defended, basically. And he only had a 59.2 passer rating allowed to him. For another first-year All-Pro, and this guy was just really, really good. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a pretty sound argument that he's the best quarterback of all time. I'm kidding. He's
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Nice. Short and sweet. That's really it.
Yeah.
Nice. Got to the point. That's exactly what it should be. Great job.
I like to drag them out.
So proud.
I like my rebuttals, my diss tracks, and then I like to nitpick. Let's go week by week. Yeah. It's just kind of
Of course. Well, going off of your pick, I'm going to have to go with Charlarvelous Ward. Charlarvelous is...
Don't cut this out.
I'm sorry. I'm butchering his name. We're going with Charlarvelous, okay? Or Charmander.
I can't believe you said
Charlarvelous. Charlarvelous had 72 total tackles. Wow, first of all. And wait till I read you this stat. 5 INTs, 23 passes defended. What? That is over a quarter of what he's had over his 7-year career, which is crazy. He was a lockdown corner, or not a lockdown corner. I'd say go get the ball corner, and a lockdown corner by how many passes he's defending. A lot of people thrown on this guy, right? With the secondary with Talano Hufanga, whatever his name is. I mean, solid safety, yes, he went kind of under the radar this year, but his second best cornerback was Charles Lenoir. Which people, first of all, I'm going to give you a sneak peek. I think Lenoir is up and coming. I do think he's going to be very, very good next year. But however, Charlarvelous, do like him a lot. 5 INTs too, which is more than everybody on my list already. Tying with Jalen Ramsey, of course, but yeah, that's why I have him at number 5, and I know you're probably going to get very, very, very mad at me for my next pick, so let's go to your number 4 pick real quick, because I know or number 5 actually.
The next pick's gonna be. I feel like she's the most random person ever. All right, my next.
No, you're gonna hate it.
Am I? My number 5 is gonna be L'Jarius Sneed. And you already talked about L'Jarius Sneed. That's why I didn't talk about him so much. I like L'Jarius Sneed a lot, actually. And I think he's going to have... And Roger McCreary is also incredibly underrated. I don't like Louisier. I feel like he was really bad last year. But him and... They can form a little... what was the Seahawks thing called? What was it called?
Legion of Boom?
Legion of Boom. They can form a common Legion of Boom with Justin Simmons when he signs with the Titans. He's not signing with the Titans. These are some of the Bengals. We need more safeties. Our secondaries.
No, he might.
He's gonna go to the Bengals.
All right.
My official take. Anyway, this guy is like 2021, 2022, pretty good. A good number one corner. Last year really broke out. Allowed one touchdown, and he played the number. Like I don't know why this Chiefs had him do this, but I mean it worked out for him, I guess, because he won the Super Bowl. But he's like one of the only corners in the NFL to travel with the best wide receiver. So like his stats aren't great, but like him going with and he also was still really really good with the number one wide receiver every game. So yeah, this guy was really good. I think he's been an instrumental part of the rebuilding Titans team, who are probably going to be like a top 5 pick next year. But like at least he'd be the best player on that team. All right.
All right. Yes, solid take. I don't think the Titans are going to have a top 5 pick. Everybody hates them for no reason. I just don't know why.
They're not good.
I don't know though. But okay. So anyway, getting off topic, like L'Jarius Sneed finally putting him some recognition that he's a top 5 corner in the league. Maybe not a go get the ball guy, but a lockdown corner who can swat the ball down if you need him to. Okay, moving on to number 4. I don't think you're gonna like this pick at all. This is a guy. Oh no, I can already see the disappointment. This is a guy coming from the NFC. You had him higher on the list. It's Jair Alexander. No, it's Jair Alexander.
Hey, listen, it's okay. Okay, we can do this together.
Oh, nice! I'm so glad that you.
If it wasn't for injuries, he'd be like my top 3.
Yeah. All right.
4's
cool.
pretty high though. That's kind of a stretch.
That gives me some positive affirmation. Okay, so like you said, injured this year. Had 5 passes defended, 1 INT, and 0 sacks, which is quite surprising, and 27 total tackles. Like you said, if he was not injured this entire year, he would be in your top 5. However, he is in my top 5 because he is both a ball getter, and a swat the ball down guy, right? He's also the number 1 corner for Green Bay currently, and I do think he, as long as he's not injured, he's going to have another breakout season like he had in his earlier career. He's 27 right now. He was a round 1 pick in 2018. So that's why I have him in my top 5. There's really nothing I can say about him because he didn't have so much production this year because he was injured. However, next year when we come revisit this list, I do think that he may even be higher than where he is at now because, I mean, it's Jair Alexander. Who doesn't like him? If you seen that post-game interview, he was like, I saw the ball go up. He was like, huh? Take it to the crib, go celebrate my guys, give the ball to a guy wearing 23.
Hey, did you see the Week 18 coin flip when he picked for the defense to go first and they lost the game?
Yeah, that was stupid of him.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think
the CTE is catching up to him. He's a little silly, but he's very funny. I like Jair Alexander as a person and as a corner. We're gonna move on to your number 4 pick.
Number 4. Number 4 is Mr. Chicago Bear himself, Jalen Johnson, probably the best defender ever to play on the Chicago Bears.
William Perry.
Bro, didn't say wait, like who's like the Brian Uchalalala? You know what I'm talking about? Like Brian
Urlacher or Dick Butkus. No, he played offense.
Dick Butkus did not play offense.
Yeah. Dick Butkus played offense. Yes, he did. He played tight end.
Are you being serious?
Yes. I'll look it up right now. All right, go ahead and talk. Goodness. I'll look it up.
There's no way. No. There's no way you just said he played tight end.
No, I'm being so for real.
Okay, we mainly played defense.
Oh, he played linebacker. Never mind. Okay.
Oh my goodness, you're so dumb.
Ripping. All right, we're getting off topic. Go ahead. Number 4.
Okay. All right, number 4 is the greatest Bears defender of all time, Jalen Johnson. He's just going off this year, he's the best cornerback in the NFL. But I'm taking multiple years into account with my list. But he was super duper duper trooper pooper good. All right, so he was the highest rated corner by PFF. Right, he only allowed 195 yards in coverage this entire season. All right, I just want you to understand how crazy that is. Allowed a 31 passer rating, which is best in the NFL. All these are best in the NFL, and only allowed 0.37 yards per snap, like he was in coverage. I mean, those are just three insane stats. Like I'm reading this right now and wondering why I didn't have him like number one. But that's because he's only like he's shown flashes in his first couple of years, but he wasn't great. This year he's great. All right, so if he has the same production next year, he'll be the number one in the NFL. All right, go do your number four.
All right, so I'm actually going to
Your
feed off of
first
yours.
Wait, not first. You're not. All right, keep going.
No, I'm actually going to feed off of yours. So my number 3 guy, which we are going to move on to, is Jalen Johnson of the Chicago Bears. Oh my goodness, super underrated for his first couple seasons. Super. I mean, he wasn't even known until last year when he got that, or before his end of contract. He made the Pro Bowl. He had a pick 6, which is crazy. 4 INTs, 36 solo tackles with 10 passes defended. People are saying, wow, why isn't Jerry Seen? Why isn't Charvarius Ward? If you see this guy, name another. I'm going to give you a game. Name another Bears corner right now.
The Stevenson guy, third-round pick out of Florida University. I remember his first name. It's like Tyree Stevenson.
Shut up! You can't name one. That's my point. You can't name one. I mean, Eddie Jackson is your safety. He's washed. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry to say it. He's washed. Okay, down the drain, washed.
Kevin Byard. Oh no, they just signed him. They just signed him.
Yeah, they just signed him, but still. So Jalen Johnson was basically the cornerstone of the Bears defense this entire year. Okay, maybe besides Montez Sweat.
Or TJ, he was pretty good.
Or Tremaine Edmonds. However, this Chicago Bears team really sort of struggled a little bit this year on offense with Justin Fields not really being able to find his personality, find his emotions. So Jalen Johnson just got paid that big money. Okay, so I expect Jalen Johnson to go out there and act like a number 3 cornerback that he is. He did make the Pro Bowl this year in the AFC, so that's why I have him so high up. I do believe that, or not. What am I talking about? Not the AFC, it's the NFC. That's why I have him at number 3. So we're gonna move on to your number 3. I'm interested to see who your number 3 is because kind of took up all the guys I would thought.
It's you got this guy at 9, and like I literally almost started crying. Like it was bad.
Oh no.
Jalen Ramsey. I don't know why in the world he had him so low. This guy is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Was literally the best cornerback in the NFL for like 5 seasons. Was like top 3 last year. He's just getting older. And this year, he missed like the first 10 games. All right, so I get it. But then when he came back from that, he was still like super good. I don't really know like where you're getting this guy. He didn't have a great PFF grade. That's because he was injured. Because I was reading about it, and he was like, this guy was injured, so he didn't play great. Like when he came back from injury, like last 4 games, it was pretty clear. A lot of people said last year had a down season, and he still was, according to PFF, the greatest coverage corner in the NFL that year. So I mean, that's a downing for him. I mean, he's like. Just call him Mr. Darrelle Revis because I don't know how these guys are low. Like I was like, we gotta stop the video. I gotta write a diss track on you because you just. All right, he's number 3. All right, he's so good. He's so good, man.
Oh no! All right, so time for the diss track that everybody's been waiting for. I hate the pick.
You gotta kiss me.
I hate the pick. I absolutely hate the pick. Okay, Jalen Ramsey is a guy who's injured this year. Okay, had 5 picks. Like, he's old, man. He's old. He's not getting any younger out there. Okay, he's only decreased in production, right? He was injured this year. I mean, sure, he made 5 picks more than a lot of the guys on this list, right?
But 5 picks in 7 games.
Yeah, but I just don't understand the pick, right? You expect a guy like that to do way better. He's had decreased production every single year, and I only expect him to go down. I don't expect him to come back up, okay? That's why I absolutely hate the pick, okay? If you have anything to say, I don't care. I hate the pick, okay? I'm sorry.
Y'all better put in the comments your opinions on this. Like,
everybody put in the comments.
We've only seen one comment by King Jakester. Like, I need to see some more comments. Okay.
Shout out to Jake, Quinn Philibrown, Cannon Hale, Brooks Terrell, and Sterling Derman. There we go. All right, who are your shout outs?
Wait, I shout out to Hank Moe, Carter Weaver, Zephon Anagnostic, and Owen Lookout, my dog.
I'm gonna go ahead and shout out Asher Burris as well. Okay.
Yeah, shout out too.
Anyway, completely off topic. Do you have anything to say about my diss track? Number 2 cornerback in the league. I'm gonna have to go with my boy in the ASC on the New York Jets, Saucy Bossy Sauce Gardner. All right. Anyway, no matter Carlisle's sadness, I'm just gonna get this pick off of me. I didn't like the Jalen Ramsey pick. He doesn't like the Sauce Gardner pick. Anyway, 57 total tackles, 12 passes defended. 0 INTs on the year. Okay? People are going to be saying that's one of the major reasons why I don't have him number 1 is because he has 0 picks. People aren't going to say, well, people don't throw the ball to him. Okay, he holds. Be honest. You cannot lie. Look at his footage. He holds a lot. And the NFL refs just do not see it at all, okay? He holds too much. I'd have him number 1 if he didn't hold and he got some more picks, right? He needs to be in Madden. He needs to user work. Okay, that was a joke. But I just don't like him. He holds. He doesn't get called for. Okay, decrease in production from last year. He had 20 passes defended last year, along with about 50 tackles and 2 picks last year. So I had him as my number 1 last year. This year number 2 because there's only one guy I think that can beat him. Go ahead.
I almost want to end the video because I think it's so horrible. There's no receptions because nobody throws him the ball because he's the NFL Sigma and everybody respects his dominance. Everybody. If there's a guy like this is some random dude and this is Saucy. Like quarterbacks gonna be like, yeah, it's Sauce Gardner. We're gonna throw him the ball. Other people go like, this guy's gonna hate my Jared Alexander pick, and like you have Sauce it too. And this is the pick that I hate more than anything in the world. All right. Anyway, my 2 is Patrick Surtain. All right, his 2022 season was really, 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 really good. His 2023 season was not as good, and that's because he played in a little more difficult situations. The team realized how good he was and had him playing on better receivers. Took him a second to adjust, but he's still a very, very good season. He out of all the assignments for every corner in the entire NFL, he played the hardest wide receivers according to PFF. He was also the best on separation route and non-targeted plays. So he wasn't as flashy as last year, but he still was really, really, really consistent. And that was his main problem for last year. That was his main problem for me in 2022 was the consistency, and he got better with consistency this year. And I think next year he's going to be Mr. Lockdown again. All right, I can prove number 1. And if it's anybody that's not named Sauce Gardner, I'm going to cry.
Okay, so number 1 cornerback. Here comes all the haters in the comments. Ready? Number 1 cornerback in the NFL, Marshawn Lattimore. Okay? Let me see.
Oh my goodness. I have this guy top 10. What are you doing? Honestly, like, you left out Pat Surtain. We're not doing a timeout. No, we're keeping this in. You leave out Pat Surtain. And make Sauce 2?
You need to hear me out. Marshawn Lattimore is who I would pick if it was 3 years ago. My number 1 cornerback is Patrick Surtain, obviously. You actually thought I was stupid for a second. No, I'm not stupid. I got some common decency, okay? All right. So Patrick Surtain did have a massive step back. However, I do like him way better than Sauce. Just because 69 total tackles, 12 passes defended with a pick. He did have 6 picks last year and a bunch more tackles.
You only picked Pat Surtain because he had an interception. If Sauce had 1 interception, Pat had 0. You'd be like, oh, Sauce, better. It was literally what happened.
Well, no. I like Pat Surtain because he did, like you said, he had to step up a little bit after having to guard the number 2 receiver. He did make the Pro Bowl still. I do think he's finally adjusted, so I do think that next year he's going to get used to having to guard the number 1 receiver. And go ahead.
Wait, what's more important, All Pro or All Pro Bowl? All Pro or All Pro Bowl?
Probably All Pro.
All right, who made the All Pro and the Pro Bowl? Just forget who made the All Pro and
both
the Pro Bowl?
Both of them did.
Gardner. Pat
Both of them
did not make an All Pro. Pat Surtain did not make an All Pro.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Well, anyway, that's my pick about my number one. So go ahead and go to your number one, who I think we can all assume who it is.
Yeah, it's Deron Bland. No, I'm just kidding. It's Sauce.
Okay.
Why do you look so sad?
Good. I mean, Deron Bland, yeah, no.
Yeah, no. We're not gonna go into Deron Bland. I know some people are like, well, I think no. All right, it is Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner has arguably had the most impressive start to a career for an NFL quarterback and corner. So you got me saying cornerback ever. All right. I mean, the Jets secondary is the best in the NFL. He's for PFF. He's a 92.1 pass coverage grade, and he's literally only allowed 0.53 yards per snap over the last 2 years. To put that in perspective, Jalen Johnson has 0.37, so that actually makes Jalen Johnson look really good. But 0.53 is second best. First best over the last 2 years. All right. I mean, he's just the best. He's the best in anything. The only thing, what's to say though? Well, the only thing we're going to look at because everybody knows he's so Sigma and because of the ball. All right. That concludes our list.
Well, that concludes. All right. I don't need to diss you. I respect your pick. I hope that you respect mine. I know you don't, but that is our top 10 NFL cornerbacks list. Everybody in the comments, was it controversial? Was it casual? Y'all let us know. We're going to end this thing off with our weekly roundup like we always do.
Yeah,
He's got the weekly roundup hat. We're going to go ahead and start it right now.
You forgot my roundup. All right. And the big thing happened today. Guess who got his big contract extension? That's right. Alex Leatherwood. No, I'm just kidding. Justin Jefferson got his 4-year, $140 million contract extension, which means he's now the highest in terms of AAV, annual contract value, which is not accurate way all of measuring contracts, but regardless, he is the highest paid player in the NFL, highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. The Commanders released kicker Brandon McManus after sexual assault allegations. He's still in the lawsuit. The Bills decided to sign a gold medalist defensive tackle who would get no doubt cut in the preseason, and nobody would ever hear its name ever again. We're going to talk about NFL. Like, this always happens. Like, every offseason, they're like, we signed an Olympian, and, like, nothing ever happens. Like, I'd never hear the name again. Micah Parsons felt a little devious and skipped OTAs because he wants his money. And Mike McCarthy said, that's when I bite you in the butt, pal. 2 more contract extensions. Jalen Waddle got his 3-year, $84 million. Which is really weird that they gave a number 2 wide receiver that much money. Doesn't really make sense. Nico Collins got his 3-year, $72.5, which I didn't like either because they paid him off coming off a career year, although he was a very, very good wide receiver this year. Better than his stats suggest. The stats were good. And post G1 cuts were official today, so I'm just going to do a quick. Most of these guys have already signed elsewhere, and they officially did all that stuff today. The post G1 cuts, every notable player got cut. Arizona Cardinals cut offensive tackle DJ Humphries and saved $16 million. Ravens cut OBJ and saved $1.21. Buffalo Bills cut Tre'Davious White and saved $10.2. Cowboys cut Michael Gallup and saved $9.9. Broncos cut Russell Wilson and saved $0. Lions cut Cameron Sutton and gave $10.5. By the way, the Broncos literally saved $0, and they lose like millions. Packers cut Devondre Campbell and saved $10.6. Raiders cut Jimmy G and saved $24. Dolphins cut Xavier Howard and saved $18.5. Saints cut Jameis Winston and Michael Thomas and saved $2.4 for both. 49ers cut Alec Armstead and saved $18 million. And the Bucks cut Shaquille Barrett and saved $1.9. All right. That's my roundup. Also, do spawn a slot receiver now. I don't know either. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the Crash Out NFL podcast. We normally have a podcast every week unless we have something planned like vacations or anything. But make sure to tune in to the next episode. It's going to be an absolute banger. And as always, we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.